So hey guys, welcome to another video, and if you visit the MMO Champion website every now and then, you might have noticed the new dev interview with Cory Stockton. And for some reason, I don't know if that's just me, but if I go onto Battle.net and I refresh the page, the interview is not there. And the interview was given to some random fucking website that is French, apparently. So why do we have these big interviews given to some random fucking website in French, and we don't have it on Battle.net? Please, can someone fucking explain to me why do they keep hiding fucking interviews from us? But Cory Stockton, first of all, is apparently a very unique human being, because it looks like he is incapable of giving out a straight answer. I don't think he can do that. I don't think he's doing this deliberately to piss people off. I don't think he can actually give out a straight answer. If you pull out a blue pen and you ask him, Cory, is this pen blue? Yes or no? He will say, well, the way I see it, it's slightly greener than other people might see it, which should be something more purpley. He can't give you, yes, this pen is fucking blue. He can't say that. He just cannot do that. He is incapable of giving out a straight answer. And second of all, he was talking about Warlords of Draenor and how they're trying to move away from having 3 or 4 big patches to having 2 big patches. In this expansion, having patch 6.1, which is apparently a big patch, even though Ian Hazzikostas, the biggest designer dude in the Warcraft team, did say, and I quote him, 6.1 was extremely light on content and should have been called 6.0.5 because it was just a bunch of developers working over the holidays to bring us a hotfix patch, and there were 2 or 3 devs that came in over the weekend and implemented the selfie camera. And then having patch 6.2 as the finale. And he was talking about, and he said something like, well, the way we see Hellfire Citadel, it's sort of a raid that's supposed to wrap things up. And essentially, even though he can't say yes or no, it looks like 6.2 will be the final patch. Now, dear viewer, explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old, because this doesn't make sense to me, alright? It's probably too complicated for my tiny brain. But we paid them more money, and we're getting less content. More money, more subscription fee in certain countries, less content. More money, less content. I might be really weird, but that doesn't make sense to me. But you know, that just might be me being really stupid. And he was just making up excuse after excuse after excuse about cutting the content and replacing it with fuck all and not giving us a fucking battleground throughout the entire expansion. But one of the excuses really caught my attention, which was, well, Tol Barad didn't make it into the game until Cataclysm, but the team was talking about adding it during Wrath of the Lich King. We had Wintergrasp. Why would we have Tol Barad, you imbecile? But you know, he might have just lost himself in all the excuses, cute little guy. And another thing he was talking about, well, the team isn't happy with players having to wait a year for new content. And for about 5 seconds I thought, yeah, that is a good thing. But then I started thinking about it, and BlizzCon is in November, if I remember correctly. So they will announce it there, which is 5 months after the release of 6.2. After that, we have to go through beta testing, assuming that the expansion won't be finished in November, which it won't be, let's face it. And he was also talking about how they don't want to rush things, and if there is no 6.3 patch, we'll have to wait for about a year for the new expansion. And even if there is 6.3, he was talking about how Hellfire Citadel is supposed to wrap things up, so another Dragon Soul. Lovely. Then one thing that made me giggle was when he said that overall the team is happy with the garrisons, and there are things that they wouldn't have done differently though. They are actually happy with the way garrisons turned out. I can't fucking believe that. Now, I was talking about BlizzCon, and what I think is going to happen if they want to reveal the expansion there is Metzen's gonna come out, you know, and hype everyone up, you know, Alliance, yeah, Horde, yeah. And then when he says, we have a new expansion for you, the entire room will be silent. Like, what? Is he serious? An expansion? Just someone give me a Doomhammer. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna hit him in the fucking balls. And people are gonna go, well, I'm not giving you my fucking money, because the last time I did, you gave me an expansion with just one fucking patch. You didn't even give us a fucking battleground, you fucked up PvP completely, you fucked up gearing in PvE and PvP, you cut out everything you had projected on the fucking screen and replaced it with nothing. The world content is fucking dead, there is no reason to do anything in the world, the reputations were pure fucking grind, even worse than they used to be in vanilla, and what's the guarantee that if I give you my money now, this isn't gonna happen again? I am not giving you my fucking money. And it's justifiable. Even I'm sitting here, and bear in mind, I'm someone who bought every single collector's edition of World of Warcraft. I know it's sad, but I did. I'm sitting here like, if they reveal another expansion at BlizzCon this year, and they ask for the same price they did with Warlords, I am not buying that. Even if they go lower, I am not buying that. I will wait a couple of months after it's been released and decide if it's worth playing or not. And let's not forget about people who don't raid. Alright, they have Tanan Jungle for like, at best, let's just say at best, 8 months. Alright, let's be optimistic. Tanan Jungle for 8 months? I am kind of done with Tanan Jungle, and it's been a week. I'm doing the same things every day. There is nothing new for me. The only exciting thing about 6.2 is the new raid. Shipyard can go fuck itself, and Tanan Jungle, meh, it's cool, but if you're not raiding, no way, that place is not gonna sustain you for 2 months, I dare to say. So the only thing left to do is to hope that Cory Stockton is some psychiatric patient who shouldn't have been in this interview, and this is all just a dream within a dream, because holy shit, if 6.2 is the final patch, which it looks like it is, and Hellfire Citadel is the final raid, which it looks like it is, this is fucked up, like really fucked up. We gave you a lot of money, and you really gave us fuck all. On one hand, I'm happy that Warlords will be over, because it just fucked up so many things. But on the other hand, this was the most expensive expansion of all time. And it had the least content. It had half the content of all the previous expansions. People are gonna be really fucking pissed. I mean... Warlords of Draenor started out good, right? Leveling was nice, but then it was all shit. It was just shit on top of shit on top of shit, shit, and more garrison shit. Then you gave us Trash Run, which completely fucked PvP. And on Unbalanced Realms, it's a complete fucking slaughterfest, and Horde usually can't get a fucking thing done. Then you force people to do Trash Run to get their best in slots, but give them an RNG chance, so they can't buy it off a fucking vendor. So PvPers are fucked. They can't get their best in slots, which means they're fucked in arenas. Alright? Then you fuck up PvE gear by adding Diablo-style bullshit on top of it, with Warforged, with gens, with tertiaries, with everything. Just fuck that. Alright? But after that, when we think about it, Warlords, the most expensive expansion, gave us 8 dungeons and 3 raids. Now, it was the most expensive expansions, and one of the dungeons was rehashed, that being Upper Blackrock Spire, and the 3 raids, well, Highmore was sort of half a raid, so it was 2.5 raid tiers, right? In the Burning Crusade, which had a lot smaller team, and was less expensive, we had 16 dungeons and 7 raids, 8 if you don't count Gruul and Magtheridon as 1 raid. In Wrath of the Lich King, once again, less expensive expansion, we had 16 dungeons and 5 raids. Alright? If you count all the dragon raids as 1 raid, once again. In Cataclysm, 14 dungeons, slightly lower, but we had 5 raids still. Alright, so once again, less expensive expansion, more stuff to do. Then in Mists of Pandaria, you went to 9 dungeons, which was fucking annoying, and 5 raids, which was alright. And then in WoD, you increased the fucking price, you give us shit on top of shit, and we end up with 8 dungeons, with 1 of them being old, and 3 raids, or 2.5 raids. You greedy fucks. This is not a joke. If 6.2 is actually the final patch, and Citadel is the final raid, Blizzard, you can go fuck yourself, take World of Warcraft and shove it up your fucking ass.